feel guilty. He knew what he had to do to get out of that mess and survive. He had to kill. The other boys began to threaten him, wielding sticks and heading straight for him. The hero gripped the brick tighter as punches rained down. He got brave, bashing one attacker with the brick, but another slammed him from behind. Down he went, and they didn't stop. Two guys held his arms, the third ready to strike, when a strange man appeared, holding ramen. He told them off for invading his home, the construction site. They asked him to leave, he seemed to, but suddenly, soup drenched the hero, and a kick knocked him out. The man took out the gang one by one with odd tricks. He teased the last one, asking if he'd fight with a stick. The man had paper. The kid worried it was a knife, but it was chopsticks. Kicks and ear-pulling followed. Dajun marvelled as the man beat the gang. They fled. The hero went to thank him, but the man called him property and was mad about spilled ramen. Dajun saw a chance. He'd learned to fight from the man in return for more ramen. He wanted to be strong. Later, the man ate soup, and the hero shared his story. The man praised him but refused help. The hero hadn't fought much. To the man he was a greenhouse flower, too safe. The world was scarier. The hero kept pushing, copying the man's every move, even scavenging and sleeping outside. He wanted to be strong like the man. Doubts came, but watching the man fight inspired him. The man noticed he followed and asked if he still wanted to learn. The hero said yes. The man had a deal. To learn, he must kill Park Jung-hyun, an aggressor. The hero didn't get it. Why suffer alone? The man said hitting with a brick wasn't enough. He needed real revenge, not just a rabbit fight. Jung-hyun searched for info on the construction worker they attacked. Unseen, the hero waited to strike. It was his turn. Memories from his past surged. Jung-hyun apologized after he did something embarrassing. He pulled down his pants in front of the girls and splashed water on himself while they were in the bathroom. He said he felt sorry and explained he suffered when Dajun felt pain. Then he raised his hand to shake Dajun's hand. Doyun, another person there, told Dajun to forgive Jung-hyun. Doyun thought Jung-hyun's apologies were real. Dajun agreed and shook Jung-hyun's hand. But Jung-hyun's grip was super strong. He used to play baseball, but he got kicked out for being too aggressive. When Jung-hyun squeezed Dajun's hand really hard, it hurt a lot. Jung-hyun said he felt better now after saying sorry. He even promised to apologize like that every day. Dajun was on a roof, a little higher than Jung-hyun. He needed to stay calm and stick to his plan. He realized Jung-hyun had been bullying him just to show off. This made Dajun angry, and he decided to jump down at him. He wanted to knock Jung-hyun down. Surprisingly, Dajun succeeded in knocking Jung-hyun down. It was easier than he thought. But he got too emotional and lost focus. Jung-hyun got up and hit Dajun back. He hit much harder than before, 3 times stronger. Dajun was in a lot of pain, but Jung-hyun didn't stop. He kept hitting and telling Dajun to bring the construction hero. Jung-hyun was mad that Dajun had taken him down with just 1 hit. Meanwhile, a mysterious man was watching the fight from far away. He thought the fight had started well but was turning bad. Dajun felt more pain than usual. Jung-hyun had been going easy on him until now. Dajun was afraid the cool guys would treat him like a broken toy. Dajun regretted coming to fight. Then, Dajun threw a bag of garbage at him. It hit his face and confused him. This surprised the mysterious man who was watching. He realized it was the right moment to attack. Now he couldn't see him, and although this wasn't entirely true, the boy went on and grabbed him by the clothes. But the big guy hit him to break free, trapping him against a wall. Dajun tried to blind him, but before his fingers could reach his face, the other man gripped his hands. The mysterious man noticed the boy copying moves from fights he'd seen, but he was doing it clumsily. Dajun glared at his attacker as he struck back, feeling tricked. He had taken their abuse for so long, even got kicked out because of them. If he could, he'd wipe them all out. He remembered the time the mystery man told him to hit Jung-hyun. If he didn't, the man would go, but he didn't back down. He said he'd try. The man figured it was tough due to the size difference, but things could change. In a street fight, strategy didn't matter. He'd do what he had to. The man seemed to lose hope, about to leave when the ex-baseball player hesitated. The boy shoved him a makeshift knife from newspapers. The big guy wasn't falling for it, but when he took the weapon he looked surprised and the boy grinned. Seemed he really had a weapon. It was hard to believe someone just appeared with a knife, freezing people with fear. The boy kicked the big guy, who bolted the other way. The man watching thought if the boy could fake a knife he might have noticed its texture, but going by his reaction, maybe he didn't. Dajun was crazier than he thought, and that could turn bad. Jung-hyun took a wrong turn, ending up in a dead-end alley as he ran. Dajun followed, seeming to lose control, fueled by anger. He got closer, landing hard hits on him. The boy getting hit wouldn't lose to what he saw as a loser. If only he could do something. So when Dajun kicked him, he acted hurt and begged to stop. but the boy who'd suffered so much wouldn't quit for that. How many times had he endured, always begging, and they never stopped? Tears streamed down Dajun's face, memories too painful to bear flooding his thoughts. The man watching from a distance thought he was victorious, seeing the boy's distraction and another boy taking charge. A knife gleamed in the air, threatening to strike, but it landed on the boy's leg, revealing it was just a ruler. Dajun grinned, realizing it was a trick. Mocking himself for fearing a ruler, he was pummeled by the furious other boy. Impressed, the man decided to step in. Pouring a drink on the angry Junghyun's head, the man grabbed his attention. The man's face was familiar. He was from the construction site. Enraged, Junghyun charged, but a swift kick sent him crashing down. Turning to Dajun, the man questioned what would have happened without his help. The boy blamed himself, still on the ground, fists meeting the earth in frustration. Crouching down, the man posed the question again. Did he want strength even if it meant getting beaten? The boy nodded, and the mysterious man granted another chance. But this time the training would be harder. They ventured through an unknown neighborhood. Dajun's curiosity piqued. Explaining that true danger lay beyond school, the man halted by a house where perilous people congregated. The man's warning lingered as he shoved the boy inside, tasking him with surviving before disappearing. The boy knelt, perplexed by the challenge, observing those around him. He recounted Cho Hangul bringing him there to learn how to fight. Surrounded by skeptical boys, he denied any skills. A long-haired boy offered him shelter for the night, the red-haired one curious if he possessed any talents. Dajun confessed his inadequacy, but his shelter came at a price household chores in exchange for meager meals. As days passed, he explored the menacing neighborhood, realizing its violent nature surpassed any other. He wondered if all gangster territories were this brutal. By accident, he made eye contact with a man who was with a group and his girlfriend. Dajun immediately looked away and tried to ignore them, but the man stood in his way and started bothering him. He was only trying to intimidate him and show off in front of the girl, but unlike before, Dajun wouldn't let himself be stepped on again. When the guy prepared to hit him, Cha Dayob appeared from behind to defend him, warning him not to get involved with those kinds of people and to finish cleaning up. But the man wouldn't stand for that humiliation and went after Dayob despite his friend's warnings. Kim Taek, the boy with long hair, was with him, but fearlessly he took out a knife and headed towards them. In 2 moves, the red-haired boy left him lying on the ground, and everyone was astonished. Dayob asked if anyone else wanted to fight, but the others ran away. Dajun wondered if all of Cho Hangul's friends were as strong as he was. After this, Hyung Tae, the man who attacked them before, was furious, complaining about Cha Dayob and his group when a man from the shadows approached him, offering his help to take down the gang. Back at home, Dajun was sleeping when he woke up to go to the bathroom and smelled gas. He quickly left the house and accidentally hit Hyung Tae with the door, knocking him to the ground next to the gas cylinder he was trying to use to suffocate them. Quickly, Dajun ran away, and Dajun chased after him, thinking about how Cha Dayob had told him he was useless, and he affirmed that there was something he wanted to do. Hyung Tae kneeled to catch his breath and wondered to himself how the bastard, referring to Dajun, was okay. Dajun walked up to him and said he didn't sleep in the same room as the others. He also shared that he wanted to beat up guys like him. A few days before the fight, Dayob and Dajun were on a rooftop. Dayob wondered why Dajun bothered him to learn fighting. Dajun said he wanted to take out people who messed with him in one hit, like he did with Hyung Tae's gang. Dayob didn't want to teach him, so he gave him a rope, telling him to work hard with it. Dajun asked how long Dayob trained, and he bragged about doing 100,000 jumps easily. The next day, Dayob looked for Dajun. He thought Dajun might have done the jumps as he suggested, but that seemed too silly. To his surprise, Dajun was there, tired from jumping all night. He asked Dayob to let him stop at 47,000 jumps. Dayob dismissed him, wondering why Dajun was trying so hard. Back to the present, Dajun tried to hit Hyung Tae, but he defended himself and hit back hard. He tried to run, but Dajun pursued, and he got hit by Hyung Tae again. Hyung Tae thought about leaving the neighborhood to escape Cho Hangul's gang and the mysterious man's gang. He almost revealed the gang's name, but Dajun grabbed his leg, making him fall down the stairs. Dajun asked about the gang, but noticed a cut on his cheek from Hyung Tae's knife. He remembered Cho Hangul facing armed opponents before and realized the danger. Hyung Tae mocked him and tried to stab, but Dajun narrowly dodged and fell into garbage. Hyung Tae threw another stab, seeming impossible to dodge. In the backyard of the house, the gang starts regaining consciousness. Kim Taek realizes who attacked them when he sees the gas cylinder nearby, and another member, a purple-haired guy with covered eyes, asks if it was Dajun who saved them. He notices he's the only one not there. Dayob confirms this, stating that Dajun went to chase his attacker. Taek doubts his victory, but their apparent leader assures him that he will return. He then remembers when he was unconscious, and Dajun slaps him hard, asking him to wake up, declaring that now they all owe him for risking his life to get them out of the gas-filled room. Although he notices that the redhead hasn't fully regained consciousness, he says that now that he saved them, they have to teach him how to fight, divide the household chores, let him get a job not to be a burden, and even participate in their food feasts. Dayob pays little attention to his requests, so Dajun suggests that they should acknowledge him if he brings back the guy who gassed them. The redhead still doesn't accept the deal, but Dajun takes advantage of his weakness to take his hand and make a pinky promise as a way to force him to agree. After this, he runs away from the scene, ending the memory with Dayob thinking that he won't go down without a fight. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.